What's the opposite of pro bono? The Latin pro bono is used to describe performance of, often professional or specialized, services for free or for reduced compensation. Is there a corresponding, hopefully Latin, perhaps pro something, phrase for performance of services for pay, i.e., normal/conventional compensation? I perused Wikipedia's list of Latin P phrases and didn't find anything satisfactory. Pro rata is perhaps plausible, in the sense of pay as you go, but I don't think I have seen it used in this sense. I suppose the phrase I seek describes the normal case, so it doesn't often need a clarifying phrase, in contrast to the abnormal case described by pro bono. I could certainly use a literal English phrase like for money or for a fee, e.g., as suggested here. However, that doesn't seem as elegant, as pro bono is somewhat more elegant and more specific than for free. I'm also interested in this as describing a situation, analogous to pro bono describing the arrangement of services being provided at reduced fee. This term explicitly identifies the arrangement as services being performed at the conventional rate. Such a phrase could also be used in a somewhat jocular or droll way, for example, a student asking for help with an implicit pro bono sense. Student A, would you help me with my homework? Student B, I would be willing to help pro appropriate compensation. Perhaps that, itself, works in this usage, smiley face.
As Black's Law Dictionary, 1968, points out, pro bono is short for pro bono publico. Pro bono publico. For the public good, for the welfare of the whole. The underlying notion is that the task or decision is undertaken or made in order to serve the society or the nation as a whole. That being the case, you might argue that a counterpoint in the law is offered by the expression pro interesse suo. Pro interesse suo. According to his interest, to the extent of his interest. Thus a third party may be allowed to intervene in a suit pro interesse suo. But this represents an opposition to pro bono publico only in the sense that self-interest and public interest are seen as being in conflict. Philosophically, people tend to have a high standard for altruism, insisting that it not entail material advantage to the altruist if it is to qualify as altruistic. But in practical terms, even deeply self-interested parties may benefit from policies and actions that advance the public good, and conversely, selfish actions sometimes serve the general welfare. The logical opposite of pro bono publico is contra bono publico, but this phrase yields very few matches in a Google book search. One instance where it does appear is in Moral Obligation and Secret Preferences in Bankruptcy Composition in American Bankruptcy Review, March 1937, quoting a New York appellate court's decision in Posner v. Rosenbaum, 1934, combined snippets. The final defense of contra bono publico is, likewise, entitled to little credence. Because plaintiffs had not agreed to do anything which would retard the discharge of the bankrupt, but rather aided payment to the other creditors and hastened the discharge of the bankrupt. Black's Law Dictionary does not have an entry for contra bono publico, though it does have one for contra bono's mores, against good morals.
So, to be clear, you're looking for a way to say, for money, in Latin, using a pro construct that's not in the list of phrases that are commonly used in English. Perhaps, pro denario, singular, or pro denariis, plural, where denarius is Roman currency, or pro argento, meaning silver, or pro pecunia, money, or pro salario, or pro honorario. If you want to say that you're doing it in exchange for something, usually money, you can say that you expect a quid pro quo, which is a well-known Latin expression.
Pro pretium equals for a fee or price. Pro dictum pretium equals for the stated fee or price. Per pretium equals by price or fee.
Common terms used to indicate that the assistance is not gratis are paid services for fee services, fee for service. The last, fee for service, is also used to distinguish a piecemeal payment system from one that is based on a broader representation, such as retainer services or commission services. Wikipedia has a discussion of that issue here.
Well, the opposite of for the public good would be for profit, which would directly translate into Latin as pro-protest. However, this phrase is not in common English usage and therefore does not carry the same idiomatic weight as pro bono.